Hi friends, it's Liz here. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm going to be sharing a quick how-to today in this video. Something super fun that I recently made. You can see here what it's going to look like. I had so much fun with this. It's a mini envelope slider card. And I had asked in my last video where I showed you how to make this project, the envelope that I used here, I had no idea what that little slit was for in the envelope. And thank you to those of you that replied, Rhodey and Audra, who left me a comment and told me what it was. And so I was able to figure it out, and I'm so happy. So thank you, ladies, so much for that. I'll be showing you the project, of course, and how to make it in the video. But before I get started, it gave me an idea of asking you for help again, because you've been so wonderful. Some additional pieces that I am not quite sure what to do with. And these are two pieces that I thought were different when I had purchased them. You know, when you purchase things online, you're not really sure what they are actually going to look like when you get them. So I started with this punch, and I thought it would just be a really cute punch for like the top of a tag or something. And then I realized it only punches out this tiny little piece, and I can only punch it out of really thin photocopy paper. If I try to punch it out of like thicker cardstock or anything like that, it gets jammed and it just doesn't work. So if anyone knows what this is used for, I would really appreciate it. Leave a comment below. You're helping a lot of us, trust me, by answering these questions as well, if anyone has this out there. But I was so confused about it. And then another one that I have that I was so excited again to get until I actually used it is this die. And I thought it was just going to be the die of the postcard. Of course, you know, this is what it looked like on my, when I ordered it. And of course I hadn't thought about it having all these little cuts everywhere. So please, am I supposed to take this apart? Am I supposed to use it almost like the envelope slider? Anyone know how to use this? Please leave a comment below and let me know. I would really appreciate it. And of course, once I figure it out, or you have helped me figure it out, I'll come back and show everyone. Don't forget to check my blog as well, because I will update that probably faster than I will the video. Today, let's get started with this. I love the idea of the mini envelope slider. Thank you so much, ladies, for letting me know what it was. Of course, you know, you can add this to your ideas journal if you have one, and then you can keep the idea there. This was the one that I did initially, and I was using some things from Knitwick Collections. I had worked with them before. I also showed you a video on a project that I made, and I am working on that tutorial, by the way. So this is what we'll be making today. I hope you guys enjoy the share. It's super fun, super quick to do. Oh, and this was not, of course, my original idea. I saw Hutson LLC. She did a tutorial, but she does a lot of stamping. Mine was not with stamps. I don't do stamps, and so that's how I came up with this one, using Knitwick Collections. This is the project I shared with all of you before, and you have asked for a tutorial of that as well. So that's coming up soon. Stay tuned for that in the next video. But for this video, we will be working on the little envelope slider card. I was thinking, you know, you could add this to your journals, etc. I'm just showing you again this collection. This is what I showed you a few videos ago. I did a flip through of that project. This is the stacked envelopes. So today, let's get started on this really fun craft. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of the video. If you like this kind of video, check out my playlist. I do a lot of different craft projects. I have tutorials, craft with me videos, and so much more to share with all of you. So let's get started. So this is what we're going to use to make this little slider card. This is what it looks like when you cut it out. There's two different sizes that came in this envelopes. I did get them from Amazon. I will link that below in case you're interested in getting something yourself. But I'm just going to show you how to put this quick little one together. It is so fun to do. And if you don't have the die cuts, you can always make your own little envelope. I'm showing you in this video how I actually cut the little slit on the paper and everything. So you could probably do that with anything else that you have. And I love how it comes out. You could, of course, as I said, I don't stamp a lot. So I just use some of the ephemera from one of the kits I was using. But if you're a stamper, you could, stamp your own sentiment on that, and it would be just as fantastic. So for this project, it's super easy. I've pre-cut some of the pieces, and I will leave the sizes and everything in the description box below. I will also put that on my blog if it's easier for you to check it out. But you'll need 2 pieces of cardstock. I've got one for the back and one as the top of the card. I've got my little envelope. And then what I'm going to do now is just show you, how you cut the slits and how you put the whole piece together. So for the little envelope, you would put it on the top of your, card wherever you need to put your sentiment. So it really depends on how long your sentiment is going to be. So kind of have an idea of that before you get started. So what I've done is I've just made sure that I have outlined where I'm supposed to cut my little slit. And now for this part, you could actually use your, cutting mat with your cutting knife, or you can do it a different way, which I'm going to show you. So if you've got these tools, you could use this, take your little knife and cut the slit. But if you don't have that and you're not comfortable with that, this is the next step that you could use. I used my, oh my gosh, We Are Memory Keepers punch thing. I forgot what it's called, but I'll have a link to that below as well in case you don't have it, or you want to get something like it. You just punch out your holes on either side. See this big thing here? So I did 2 little holes on either side of my slit, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I will use those little holes to be able to cut the slit, so I don't have to fiddle with an X-Acto knife or anything like that. And of course, if depending on the size, of course, that you're making your slit or your envelope, you could also make your own envelope and cut your own little slit, which is what a lot of people had commented in my previous video that they might actually do, because they thought you could just add like a little note inside the envelope, etc. But the way that this one was designed is just meant to be used this way. So I think if I do end up making others in the future, I will try and do that. So you can see here that I've lined everything up. I'm making sure that it's centered and that the slit is right where I want it before I start to glue down everything. Now this is where you make sure that your slider fits in the width of the envelope, and then you have the length that you want for your front of your card. Once you have that settled, put that aside, and then we'll continue with the next step. So you take the back of the envelope. So this is the part that will not be facing you. And in the center, you just add a little bit of glue, because what you're trying to do is just attach your envelope to your card slit top there. You can see how I'm doing that here. And then when you line it up, you just make sure that, it's straight, that it's how it's supposed to look, because sometimes it can get a little wonky depending on how you cut your slit. But I make sure that I cut it a little bit bigger than I need to, because it will be covered up by the flaps of the mini envelope anyways. Okay, so now you take your slider and you are going to now decide how long you need this piece to be. So here I'm just making sure that when I pull out my slider, I want it to go as far as, a certain spot when you close your envelope. So right now the envelope is open, but as I close the envelope, because you will be gluing this down, I need to make sure that it pulls out that much. And so when you turn your card front to the back, you can see how long my piece is. So that's the part that you'll have to do with your slider, is how long it has to be. And then with a scrapbook piece of, or a leftover scrapbook, a scrap paper bit, just take a piece that's a little longer than your slider is wide, and this is to make sure that you stop it from going all the way out of your envelope. So when you glue it down, make sure that you only add glue to your slider and not to your piece that you will be attaching to it, because you need this piece to go up and down, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. So I'm adding my scrapbook piece of paper here, and you can see it's longer than the slit, and this makes sure that my slider stops at this point when I'm pulling it out, so it doesn't get pulled out all the way through. And because I had already measured the length of the slider, it will not go further down than the front of the card. And you also make sure you leave a little room, because when you're adding glue to your back here of your card, you need to make sure that the slider can go up and down without it being restricted by glue. So see how that is coming out here. You can kind of see what it's looking like. And now I'm just going to grab my my little string that I want to put on the top, and this is just to make sure that the ribbon stops the card from going all the way down. Not that it would, because I've made sure I've only made it long enough on the back so that it just touches the bottom of the card, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So you've got your little ribbon here that you can just use to indicate that this pulls out. And now I'm going to be closing the envelope front and just adding little bits of glue here. You don't need that much for this part. I'm just scraping a little bit off with a leftover paper bit here. This is making sure that it doesn't squish out and then accidentally glue my slider to the envelope. And once that is dry, then you decide also where you want your sentiment to go. So I ended up cutting up these pieces from the kit that I used, that I showed you before. I like that I already had these sort of that I could add to my paper. And again, like I said, I don't necessarily stamp a lot. I'm not a big stamper, so I like to have things that I can print out on paper, or maybe even have some embellishments ready to go. I do need to find some nicer embellishments though, because I don't have lots of them, and I think it would be nice to start making a few more of these. So there we go. This one's got the thank you right on it, and I'm just making sure that it's nice and even out. And as I said, I had kind of pre-cut these pieces because I know a lot of you don't want to see me cut every single piece, etc. I just kind of like to show you the project once you can put it together. So here you can see I'm gluing all sides of the back of this this card top, and then this is just where you need to make sure that you have a nice straight edge and that it's all evenly put together. So that's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this quick DIY. Thank you to all the ladies that came to my rescue and let me know how to use this piece. And of course, for those of you watching, leave a comment below and let me know if you have any idea what those other pieces are that I had previously, that I have just shown you in a video. I really need to know how to use those. All right, thank you so much for stopping by. Leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Check out my blog. I will definitely have the measurements updated there for you as well, in case that makes it easier. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much for stopping by.